All right, friends, today we're going to look at writing equations with variables. And I just wanted to remind you that a variable is a letter or other symbol that represents a number. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're working through our activity today. All right, question number 1 says Alex has a total of 16 shirts. There are 9 shirts in the closet and S shirts in the laundry basket. So you should have identified that S was indeed the variable, okay? This is our variable. This is our unknown number, okay? So let's take a look at this and try to figure it out backwards. So we know Alex has a total of 16 shirts. So I'm going to put that on the side of the right side of my equal sign, okay? There are 9 shirts in the closet and S shirts in the laundry basket. So we could say that the 9 shirts in the closet, okay, plus the S shirts in the laundry basket would be equal to our total, okay? Now, there's a couple of different ways you can figure this out. This is a very basic equation. So you could think to yourself, 9 plus S, what number is equal to 16? Okay, and perhaps you know your basic addition facts. So you know right off the bat that 9 plus what number? 7 is equal to 16. So you know right off the bat that S is equal to 7. Okay, that unknown variable there. But there's another way you could do this. Okay, and that is to try to what is called balance the equation. So you want to get S by itself on one side. And the only way to get S by itself would be to do the reverse of addition, because we assume that this is a positive 9. So if we do the reverse of addition, we take away 9 over here, so that crosses that out. What we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract 9. That way, it gives me S over here by itself is going to be then equal to 16 take away 9, which is equal to 7, okay? And then we can double check our mental math. Is 7 plus 9 equal to 16? Yes, it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and try number 2, okay? In question number 2, it tells us there are 15 cars in the parking lot. So this here is going to be our total. Our total is 15 cars. After 3 cars left, there were C cars in the parking lot, okay? So we want to figure out how many cars were left, okay? Well, in this case, there were C cars in the parking lot after 3 of the 15 left, okay? So we're going to get a new total of to how many are left. So if we just do 15 take away 3, which in this case, you just have to do your mental math. 15 take away 3 is equal to 12. So C is going to be equal to 12. Okay, and again, keep in mind that that C is supposed to be your variable. So this one is pretty easy, okay? But you can't always guarantee that they're going to be that simple. All right, let's take a look at number 3. There are 5 basketball players playing at the court and B players sitting on the bench. There are a total of 8 players in the team. So we want to take this and we want to note that this right here is our variable. Okay, that is our unknown number. All right, so we're going to go ahead and figure out what our total is. Tells us there is a total of 8. So that's going to be on one side of the equal sign. So we're going to say something plus something is equal to 8. In this case, they're telling us there are 5 basketball players and B players on the bench. So we have 5 basketball players plus B basketball players on the bench is equal to 8. Okay? So again, you know your basic addition facts. You should know that 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. So we know for sure that B is equal to 3. But again, trying to balance our equation, we want to go ahead and let B be on by itself on one side of the equation. So if we subtract that 5, that will cross that out and we'll leave B to itself. What we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. Okay, so again, we get the same answer. B is equal to 3. All right, we are going to continue our process of writing equations with variables by looking at now number 4. So if you could flip your paper over, you should see number 4, or page down if you're looking at the computer. Okay, so now we are looking at question number 4. And this one tells us there were 14 muffins in the kitchen. After the children ate muffins, there were 7 left. Okay, so let's try to see if we can figure out, first of all, we should identify that M is going to be your variable. Okay, and the problem is telling us that there were 7 left. So we know that we need to have a total of 7, okay, because that's how much was left. And there were 14 muffins in the kitchen, but then after the children ate M of those muffins, that's how we figured out that then there was then 7 left, okay? So in this case, again, you have your mental math should tell you that 14 minus 7 is equal to 7. So we know that M is equal to 7. But if you want to try to balance the equation out, you could do it the same way again. You could subtract 14. You could subtract 14. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute, Mrs. Cobb. You can't take 7 from 14. You're correct. You can't. So it actually becomes what is called a negative number. Okay, but we have that minus there, M, and then we would have minus 7. But then guess what? That negative number and that negative number is going to end up crossing itself out anyway. So that negative and that negative will end up crossing itself out. So M is still going to be equal to 7. Okay, if that's a little bit difficult to understand, that's okay. We'll eventually get there. But again, the most important thing is you're able to figure out what the equation is and understanding that the unknown letter is going to be your variable. Okay, let's try number 5. Tim has 3 older brothers and T younger sisters. Okay, Tim's mother has 6 children. Tim has 3 older brothers and T younger sisters. Tim's mother has 6 children. Okay, so this one might be a little bit more difficult because we're kind of we have a couple of extra things we're going to be adding in there. Now, we know that Tim's mother has a total of 6 children. So we know on this side of the equal sign, it's going to be equal to 6. Okay? But we know that he also has 3 older brothers and T younger sisters, but we have to include Tim in order to include Tim as one of his mother's 6 children. So we're going to say that Tim is then equal to 1 because he's equal to one of her children. Okay? So 1 plus the 3 older brothers plus the T younger sisters is going to be equal to 6. Okay, so we need to combine our 1 plus our 3 to get 4. Okay, 4 plus T is going to be equal to 6. Now, we want to balance out our equation so that we have just the letter on one side. Okay, so in order for us to do that, we're going to take away 4 over here. That's going to cross that out. And what we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. Okay, so we end up with T being equal to 2. Okay, now you could have also figured this out mentally and said 1 plus 3 is 4 and 4 plus 2 is 6. So you could have thought it out mentally, but this is the algebraic process of how you can balance the equation to just have the variable on one side and the number on the other. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and try number 6. Sarah had Q math questions to finish over the weekend. So she had Q math questions to finish over the weekend. Q is then going to be our variable. Okay, and remember that a variable is going to be any letter of the alphabet. It's an unknown number. She finished 5 on Friday and 11 on Saturday. On Sunday, she had 8 questions left to do. So knowing that she had 8 questions left to do, that's going to be on this side of the equal sign. Okay, so she had Q math questions to finish. Okay, take that away from the 5 that she finished on Friday and take away the 11 that she finished on Saturday, and that will give you your total of 8. Okay? So in this case, we then have to combine the -5 and the -11. Okay? And in this case, we end up getting -18 or -16. Q minus 16 is going to be equal to 8, okay? Because a negative and a negative, you just combine it to make another negative. But guess what, friends? We still need to get that Q by itself. And the only way to get that Q by itself is going to be take the combined -11 and -5, which gave us -16, and do the reverse of subtraction, which is addition, so that we can cancel that out. And what we do to one side of the equation, we need to do to the other side of the equation. So if we add 16 to the other side of the equation, we end up with Q being equal to 8 plus 16, and 8 plus 16 is equal to 24. And then you can plug in that 24 up here. 24 minus 5 minus 11 is equal to 8, because 24 minus 5 is equal to 19 minus 11 is going to be equal to 8, okay? And that is our final answer there. Now, if you still have some questions about how this works, don't panic, okay? We're just practicing how to use variables and how to write equations with them to solve, okay? All right, see you in the next lesson.